In the world of anthropology, one can identify two stages of tribal society. You had a simple society organized by limited instances of social rank, and then an expansion of the simple society as numbers increased into a more stratified society led by chieftains or tribal kings for that particular tribe. Stratified tribal societies flourished from around the times of Abraham through the Bronze Age, the 500 years or so BCE, and into the Iron Age, the period of the Roman Empire. These tribal societies, with the ascendancy of Rome, were in competition with the nation-states of the Roman Empire. It was after the collapse of the Western Roman Empire that tribal kingdoms were again established over much of Europe, and by the 1500s these had coalesced into super-regional monarchies, which is nothing more than a sophisticated form of a stratified tribe with a formal army to maintain the power of the monarch. In the pre-Roman period, life was far simpler, and traditional life was mostly harmonious as all people lived together and worked towards a common element. That is not to say that crime did not exist. When it did, it generally involved incest, greed, violation of sacred beliefs, offenses against properties, and offenses against other people. Serious crimes resulted in punishment, which was decided upon by the tribe's elders. This is a structure of customary law, which is one that can at times be quite different from the law that we understand in a modern context, and at times the two systems can come into conflict, and a delicate balance must be reached between, on the one hand, maintaining and respecting the origins of a nation and that has evolved through the common law system of the Western world. Ramban maintains that what Yehuda was doing was exercising his right as a shoter or moshel ba'aretz, at least in so far as his family was concerned. He was the tribal chieftain, and therefore Tamar, the daughter-in-law Asher Tizne Alav, who within his tribe committed an act not in accordance with tribal custom, Einena Nidona Kamishpat Shar HaNashim, was treated quite differently to that of other people. This was not merely a case of violation of the sexual mores of the tribe, Ach K'mevaze et HaMalchut. It was tantamount, because she was the daughter-in-law of Yehuda, it was treated as an act of treason in undermining the authority of Yehuda as a tribal chieftain. V'alkein katuv, therefore, the Torah states, Vayom Yehuda hotziyuha v'teisaref. She was to be taken out and burnt at the stake. This is not a reflection of Torah law, it was a reflection of his authority to administer tribal law for the group. V'hu chayiv ota mita l'maylat hamalchut. He had the right to demand that she die on the basis that he represented the ruling authority. V'shafatota k'mechalelet et aviha. He deemed her actions as bringing the honor of the family into disrepute, and the family referred to here is the family of Shem, and therefore v'lo sheyihiyeh din hedyotot kain. Her punishment would go well beyond the punishment that was to be meted out to the average individual. Rashi's approach is to understand the actions of Yehuda as a proto-Matan Torah process, in other words, as much as possible aligned with what was to eventually be established for the nation as a whole, beginning with Matan Torah, whereas the Ramban understands the actions of Yehuda as divorced from Matan Torah, an exercise in the administration of tribal justice and customary law.